Hello again, AJ Wildman. I'm going to continue with this little set on jobs and business proposals. Second proposal is hemp crop farming in America. For decades, the American farmers have been trying to get the authority or be allowed to grow hemp. Now, in the mid-1930s, when after marijuana was made illegal, naturally growing weed was made illegal, they tied hemp to it also. Now, technically, hemp and cannabis, a lot of people have thought over for years now that they are the same plant, but they are not. The domestic propaganda put out by certain industries and the government have promoted that untruth, if you want to call it, a lie, because they both come down the same plant chain, but over here you've got cannabis and over here you've got hemp. Cannabis, naturally growing in the 70s, had a THC, which is the thing that gives you the buzz, the ingredient that gives you the buzz. It's about 7 or 8%. All right. Naturally growing hemp, on the other hand, has a 0.5% or less. So, as I tell people, you could smoke or eat a pound of it and you wouldn't get anything probably but sick. All right. So, now what are the differences in those? I'm going to talk about cannabis in another thing here in a minute, another proposal or two I have. But hemp, we'll talk about now. Okay, hemp, I should say that cannabis is, the way I put it, a God-given medical plant. And we'll talk about that. Hemp is actually a God-given commercial plant. Why do you say that? Well, there's a little segue here. I walked away from the computer industry almost 14 years ago. Worked in D.C. in the computer business for 30-odd years. And I walked away from it to try to get something going, and my initial topic was basically national drug reform, which is another proposal we'll talk about, how to get hard drugs and all drugs out of or under control in America. Okay, but as I found, a lot of people really didn't know the difference between those two plants, right? And what I do now, I've been away from there for a while. I've actually sold mortgage loans. I used to design kitchens over the years for Home Depot in 3 different states. I have driven buses with wheelchairs in it over the years as I've done my writing and supported myself. And most recently, up here in Westminster, I have been teaching student driving. Talk about somebody with some I'm either insane or very brave, one or the other. And I teach it in the classroom and behind the wheel. Right? But I'll be in class, and then just as an exercise, I hold something like this up, and I say to my class of, 16, 17, 18-year-olds, I said, what is this made of? And they look at me with, question marks all over their face. And pretty much no one knows, right? I could have 20 kids in the class, 24 kids in the class, and they just don't know. I said, they say, well, it's made out of plastic. I said, true. And I say, what's the plastic made out of? And a lot of adults don't know either. It's made out of plastic. It's made out of petroleum. Okay? Everything you have, everything you see that is made out of plastic, and there's more and more of it all the time, your thing for your laptop's wrapped in is plastic, right? And so they go, okay, so that's where some of our petroleum needs come from. Well, it just so happens, all right, that hemp can be used to make plastic. In the mid-1930s, before hemp was made illegal, you couldn't grow it, couldn't get it, all right, Henry Ford I actually made the entire outer shell of a car, all right, a Ford, of course, out of hemp-based composite plastic, all right? And he also powered that car with hemp-based diesel fuel. So you can think of a couple of industries right at the top of your head that are not excited about hemp being produced. Okay, also, just in case you didn't know it, most people don't, hemp, just like cannabis, are not naturally growing crops or plants in this hemisphere. And I'm not quite sure who brought cannabis over the first time, but from England, but Thomas Jefferson, the one and only, brought the first hemp plants over. He smuggled them into the country. And he and George Washington grew them in great amount. Because what can you do with hemp? You say, what can you do with hemp? They can't make plastic in those days. Well, the Constitution was written on hemp paper, hemp-based paper, right? Hemp has been around for centuries, sometimes called cannabis, overlapping the names, and that's what sails for ships were made out of forever. Rope has always been made out of hemp, okay? People make clothes. Jeans could be made out of hemp, okay? Cotton farming could probably be replaced with hemp crop, because for one thing, hemp is a naturally growing weed. I think you can turn 2 crops a year in some places. It doesn't require nearly as much water as cotton does, and it doesn't require all the fertilizer that cotton does. So you can also see who's not excited about maybe hemp replacing plastic or hemp replacing cotton, okay? So those are just some of the things that you can do with hemp. So I believe we're just going to pass the law and let the farmers start growing the product. You can, again, farming, you can grow various other things with hemp. I think that pretty much covers enough of the issue. So I think hemp farming needs to become a major industry in America and in this hemisphere, and it again will create farm jobs. It will produce product for more manufacturing, domestic manufacturing, and that's what we want. I think that's enough on hemp for today, and in the next video we're going to talk about cannabis, and it's a small business in America. Take care. Thank you very much.